and announce that this meeting is being streamed live to Carroll Media Center's YouTube channel as well as the town's Facebook page. And I will call the meeting to order at 7:01. Good evening and welcome to the Town of Sykesville Mayor and Town Council meeting. Today is Monday, February 26th. Hi, Leo. 2024. We will call, I hadn't spoken to Leo yet. We will call the meeting to order, as I mentioned, at 7:01. We begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that moment of silence, please. Okay, all right. Joe, do we have anyone here that would like to make public comment?
No.
Not even our chair of the HDC? Welcome, Chad. All right, so no public comments at this time. We'll skip to our consent agenda, which is our first item of business and is inclusive of our minutes from our last meeting, February 12, 2024, as well as my reference for you all to appoint Matthew Cleaver for the Historic District Commission for a 3-year term expiring February 2027. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
A motion to approve the consent agenda?
Thank you, Councilman Grassley.
Second.
Thank you, Council President Carter. Sorry, I'll get you next, Council Guy. If you hadn't parked in my spot, I would have called you on that one.
Before we call
sure.
for the vote, where did you find Matthew Cleaver? He looks like an excellent choice.
He's amazing, yeah, and I can't take credit for handpicking him. He came to us. He lives on Springfield Avenue in a historic home, new resident in the last year. Less, and his neighbor directly across the street is already on the HDC, and it's not Chad, but it's thank you. I was thinking of the word commissioner. I couldn't find Commissioner Brian Ball, and he's the one that tagged this wonderful applicant, and so I'm excited to have him on board. Yeah,
great addition to
checks all the boxes.
Absolutely.
He actually came for an application about less than a year ago. And we all made comment to ask him if he would be interested.
Oh, well, it worked.
Yeah,
And
I parked at his house and I said, come on, you can join.
Pretty soon the entire HDC is going to live on Springfield Avenue minus 1 or 2. Yeah, but that's okay. I love it. I love historic homeowners on the commission, especially one that's got architectural background and so on. So yeah, he's going to fill the spot just fine. So we have a motion on the table to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Consent agenda is approved. Our first and only item of new business is to consider, discuss, and act on resolution number 2024-02, the Historic District Guidelines Revision. And I'll just give a quick background and then I'll turn this over to Joe to hit our high points. The town staff and Historic District Commission have worked with our consultants, Brennan & Co. Architects, to update the existing downtown historic district guidelines, design guidelines, and that's important that it's the downtown historic district guidelines because we have 2 historic districts, the other one being over at Warfield. These guidelines are now ready for council review and approval, and I will also say that Joe will probably say this too, but the reason why we have to do this is because according to our town's historic district code, chapter 93, establishing the manner by which the Historic District Commission can update the design guidelines requires that the council ratify changes to the guidelines via a resolution once the commission has approved said changes. So that brings us to Joe and give us some more background.
Sure thing, Mayor. So again, this was not a complete rewrite of the downtown historic district guidelines, but more of a overall reorganization of the document. So I'll just hit on some of the high notes and then probably say thank you to a few people that helped with this. But again, the document that's in front of you improved the overall organization of the document itself. We used specific town examples and photographs so that people can really pick out what is allowable and not allowable, or what is recommended and not recommended. New information was included regarding the application submission process, checklists for everybody, and then some administrative processes and how the approval process works. We did expand a little bit on the historic tax credit information, which for some of you might not know, there actually is a local historic tax credit. Not a lot of money, but it is something that's available to folks in the historic district. Updated the map so that it's easier to read and understand kind of what property's in and what property's not. We also got rid of the ranking system that we used to have, so now it's just a contributing structure or a non-contributing structure. Each section breaks down the difference between maintenance and replacement of materials. We did add a section on alternative materials. I know this is something that the Historic District Commission has been struggling with. Anytime somebody comes in with a project or something that they want to do to their house or business, and they didn't have a like material to replace with, so this gives them a little bit of more leeway there. And then there is a new section on sustainability, accessibility, and equipment. So again, it's not an overall rewrite, but certainly reorganization, and we hope the document makes the HDC's job a little bit easier, and the people that live in the historic district a little more options on what they can do to maintain their properties. I do want to say just a quick public thank you to Carrie Kowalski, our city clerk, town clerk, for helping guide this process kind of through the historic district and the consultants. Kevin Rubenstein, our town planner, who was the one who obtained the grant for this rewrite, then also assisted in the rewrite process. Obviously, our consultants that we hired to do the rewrite, and then of course the volunteers on our historic district commission, who is represented here tonight by Chad Durka, our commission president. So again, all the time and effort has resulted in the document that's ready for adoption tonight, and staff is obviously recommending its approval.
Great, thanks, Joe. I'll just start to my left, because that's the side I want to start on, if anyone has any comments regarding what you've reviewed and or questions for staff.
No, looked good to me. I skimmed it. I'm not an architect or anything, so I don't know, but I liked what I saw, and I thought it was well organized.
Good.
I don't have any questions or other comments. Thanks.
Councilman Schofield?
I do not, other than updating the liaison position.
Okay, very good.
Well, and the date too. You still said 23.
That was going to be one of my comments, yeah. And how about on my right?
Just thank you to the commission and staff. I mean, definitely a lot of work, and the organization seemed to be pretty easy to follow. So,
Yeah, I came on late into this process, but I looked at the old ones this weekend, and this is so much better. Even page 7, where you have a flow chart of when you should come to the historic district and when you shouldn't, it seems so much helpful. And the hot links on the right hand side taking you right to the application is awesome. So I'm really happy with it, even though I really didn't have anything to do with it. So. I'm very happy with it.
Well, being there is doing something with it, so thank you, our liaison to the HDC, which needs to be updated in the thing. Okay.
Nothing at all. Thanks to everybody for their hard work.
All right, great. Thanks, Councilman Keenan. So I actually found just an out-of-date piece of information that I know is pulled directly from the current version. It's page 11, paragraph 3. The last sentence of that paragraph, and it's speaking of the historic stone structure on Main Street, who it was built by and when, and it says today the old stone store is St. Barnabas Episcopal Church Parish House, which, I don't know if we want to just eliminate that sentence or update it obviously to the fact that it's Patapsco Distilling Company now.
It's probably best if we just eliminate this.
Yeah, so that you don't have this problem again. And I looked, once I found that, I was like, oh no, are there more of those kind of dated things that were true when it was written and no longer true now? I didn't necessarily find any, but I have to admit that I didn't look thoroughly for that. I did for a certain period of time until I didn't have time to do it anymore. So I don't know if that's something that we think somewhere I should go on one last time, or if you guys are good with adopting these now, or if we want to table this until we say another set of eyes goes on it again. It's up to you all. I just would hate for it to get missed. If that's something that we can adopt with that intention, and then...
Typically minor amendments or
Okay.
Let's call it typos,
Sure.
corrections like that.
Yep.
We can make those on a staff level
Okay.
if we do find some, even though they get adopted.
Okay, that's fine. And I just want to say kudos. The idea, the updated map with the explanation of what buildings are what, and reduction of confusion related to the grade that they once were is amazing, and repeat of everything that everyone else has already added. So thank you for that, and thank you to our HDC chair in the gallery here this evening, Chad Badurka. And
Go ahead.
no, that's okay. Just one more comment. And it has nothing to do with these specific guidelines or the rewrite. It has to do with the fact that our historic district exists for reasons related to our amazing small town's character and the retention of that, and how much that has an effect on economic development and our ability to really maintain for here and into the future, the unforeseen future, what it is we've got going on here in Sykesville, and the fact that we have a historic district. We obviously must have a historic district commission, and that commission is now, for the first time in a long time, without anything I can see in the foreseeable future, based on everyone that I've spoken to on the commission. We will now be, after I gavel this resolution in, oh no, I did that already with consent agenda. We are now fully filled. The HDC has no empty seats, and again, it's a strong HDC. I think one of the strongest ever, given everyone's resumes and experiences. So that's it for now. And go ahead. I know you're gonna make a motion there, Councilman
I'll
Rez.
make a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2024-02 with the 2 changes that were noted here during the meeting.
Excellent. Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, President Carter. And any other comments or need for further discussion? All right, with the motion on the table to adopt resolution number 2024-02, the Historic District Guidelines revision as proposed, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that resolution is adopted unanimously. That brings us to our announcements and reports, and we are on our way to a new record for a meeting time. I'll start with the announcements. Every time I say that, something happens. The next meeting is Monday, March 11th, 2024. We have volunteer opportunities available on the Parks and Rec Commission, the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, Crossing Guard, and Police Auxiliary, but not the HDC. Email the town at sykesville.net for more info about volunteering with the town if you find yourself or someone that you know interested. And staff updates, we can begin with town management. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
So first one I have is just a reminder that this Saturday, March 2nd, is our strategic planning workshop. So it is 8 o'clock. Mayor?
Yes, thank you.
Is it 8
Not
o'clock?
8:30.
Not 8:30?
I will be here at 8 o'clock.
Again, as in years past,
Last year, it was 8:30.
we,
Thought I was 15 minutes early and I was 15 minutes late.
indeed,
Yeah,
it's okay.
thank you.
They even out.
Just wanted to make.
We remember.
Yes, I'm sure.
Even I was here.
Everybody's got a tight schedule that day.
Yeah.
The next thing is just a quick update on Springfield Avenue. So hopefully everybody saw that Springfield Avenue is now back open. That does not mean the work is completed. It just means they are starting to move north, but that only requires lane closures during construction hours. So again, it's good to have that back open. An update about Main Street. So I know right before the holidays there was some talk about some stormwater repair work that was going to happen along Main Street. We were able to get that postponed until after the holidays just to keep things somewhat clear. That is scheduled to begin next week, next Monday, March 4th. Again, just to remind everybody, there's 4 spots along Main Street. One spot down by the Vine and the station building. One spot right at the main intersection near Oklahoma. Up here at Church Street, and then Wilson Avenue. So each of those 4 spots will take roughly a week to 10 days to complete. And again, they'll start, the schedule is they'll start at the south end and start moving their way north. So a little over a month or so at each of those, or the entire project should be a little over a month, roughly a week or so at each of those locations.
And this is the scope of work that will require them to support some of the utility poles,
Yes,
the nearest ones to them.
there's 2 spots that we know of that are going to require bracing on some of the BG&E poles. The one is right next to Revive and Company, and then the other up here by Church Street.
Thank you, Joe.
But again, hopefully that's given the amount of construction that's been happening along Main Street and Springfield Avenue, this, we're hoping, is relatively minor. It does require a lane closure, not a complete road closure, but again, that is scheduled to begin on the 4th.
And I'm forgetting why the bracing is needed. What, is that
Because-
because of the dirt work that's happening, or? Is
Yeah, so some of the inlets that they're going to be replacing are very close to where the poles are.
Got it.
So
Okay.
because they're pulling those out, they got to brace the poles,
Okay.
just in case.
Thank you.
Some of you may remember at the last meeting I mentioned the gatehouse porch bids that were due roughly 2 weeks ago. The reason it's not on the agenda tonight is because we did get 2 bids. However, they were both very, very high. So we decided to reject the bids, and we're going to give it another shot. And so hopefully we'll be back soon with that project, because that is certainly necessary. And then, if people haven't noticed, at the visitor center, we are doing some bathroom renovations down there. They have not been closed, or at least not at the same time. So again, they're still operational, but that was something that we had budgeted in this fiscal year, is to do a little bit of a refresh on those bathrooms down there. And we're hoping another week or so, and that work is completed. And then the last thing I have, speaking of the visitor center, is I know I mentioned this to council a few weeks ago, but this Wednesday is Joyce Mills' last day as at the post office. She has been working with the town for a little over 6 years now, and she's kind of held down the fort on Wednesdays down there. So really, it's just a public acknowledgement and a thank you to Joyce for her time with the town. She's moving on to bigger and better things. So this is kind of a happy, sad moment for us here. But if anybody has a moment this coming Wednesday, that will be her last day at the post office. So you can go ahead and say thank you.
And we're advertising for a part-time position.
We are.
Thank you, Joe. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Joe?
One question, the stairs to the train.
The Pullman car?
Yes, the
Yes.
Pullman car, thank you. Has there been any updates in reference to that? I've been driving by it, just looking over to see if any progress is being made, and
There hasn't been any progress since we did the shoring up right before Christmas. So
Yeah.
there was some repair work that was done. That's not permanent.
Yeah.
We are working through kind of what we hope to be our little streetscape project for Baldwin Drive and that whole area down there. So
Mhm.
we don't know if we're going to incorporate it just into that project rather than
okay.
doing it separate.
And the bricks in the ground are also part
Same
of that?
thing. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, guys. Anyone else? All right, that brings us to our public safety report, and I'll invite Chief Spalding to the microphone, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
See, I brought along my personal protective detail here
Yes, I
tonight.
do see that. I do see
Actually,
that.
2 of our brightest and best here, Officer Jacobs and Hopper. So,
Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
You got my back, right?
Yeah, we know you get nervous speaking.
I did. Thank you. Would you like to?
I'll take the next one.
First, want to apologize for missing the last meeting. Just feeling a little down and out. Yeah, really, I
Feeling
was.
better.
But it's good to know that Lieutenant Kilgore was able to step in and take care of things. So. Before I start with the public safety report, I do want to address quite a few questions that were sent to me. No, I always like questions. Like I said before, it shows me that you actually read it. So,
Well, and I actually, 99% of the questions that Councilman Grassley presents to you, I already had. So I'm thankful that he's doing that.
he takes the time to do
And
it.
he's doing it on the weekend so that by the time I get to it on Monday morning, your answers are coming in. So it's perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
good time.
Okay. Well, let's start with case number 00024. It was a hit and run. The question was that a person or a car hit? It was a pickup truck that struck a parked vehicle on the Mac lot and then left the scene. Investigation resulted in the identification of the driver of the truck, and charges are pending in that case. 00025. The question was, can you give some more details? Was the kid in danger or just left on his own for a while? It was actually a 7-year-old female child was left inside a residence in town while the mother went to work, actually an hour or so away. No evidence the child was in danger. The complainant was the child's father. The parents are divorced. Investigation is closed at this time because the father does not wish charges to be placed. But it was a violation of the Child Under 8 statute under family law. So technically, charges could have been filed, but we believe that the mother understands that now and won't do it again. 00026 was a death investigation. The question was natural causes. It was a 66-year-old male with pre-existing health issues found deceased by his roommates. No foul play was suspected. 66 is too young.
Yes.
00028, again, the question was more details, please. This was a family dispute between stepbrothers, about the possession of a vehicle. One brother wouldn't allow his stepbrother to remove the vehicle from his property. Several of our officers were there. The matter was resolved peacefully, and the vehicle was allowed to be removed. So just kind of a domestic type situation. 00029, again, the question, more details, please. PFC Hoppa, if you would like to address this one. One of our officers' rear window of her patrol car was shattered when she entered it to come to work early one morning. It happened when she closed the door. She heard the back window shatter. There was no evidence of any projectile or stones or rocks or anything of that nature. We think it was just weather related. May have gotten a chip in it. And what? She was mad because she had to come to work that early. She slammed it hard, but
That was a cold ride into work.
yes.
Hulk smash?
Was that?
Hulk smash?
Yes. And she actually also checked with the police in her area to see if there was any other reports of any similar sort of thing happening, and there are none. So again, we believe it to be weather related, just kind of a freak accident. At least that's what we're going to call it. 00030, again, more details, please. This was a 55-year-old hearing impaired male that had inappropriately touched two ladies at a local business. Initially, they were somewhat alarmed, called police. We did go down and do a pretty thorough investigation. We believe we were able to identify the suspect, who's no longer in the area, and found him to have some mental challenges as well as being, again, hearing impaired. So the victims in the case don't wish to pursue it any further, so it was left at that. 00031, any charges? And follow-up questions is, what do you do in that situation? This was a 13-year-old female who was caught by her parents sending sexually explicit material to an unknown male over social media. Contact was made with an investigator from our Carroll County Advocacy and Investigation Center, who specialize in these type of investigations. And that investigator is actually going to be taking over the investigation from this point in an effort to identify the suspect. In the interim, the parents have taken their daughter's cell phone away, and the best advice I can give you, being the father of a 13-year-old daughter, is to know what social media your children are on and closely monitor what they're looking at. Don't allow them to password protect their sites. Make it a requirement that if we give you this phone, I'm going to have the passwords and I'm going to have the ability to check your phone at any time. That's really the best way to make sure that they're safe. Of course, having that conversation with them about the dangers of social media and how you can get in trouble and ruin your life, basically.
Any parent would like to know how to block certain URLs at the router level and then password protect the router so the child can't get to those sites. Give me a call.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, it's good advice.
Good point, Councilman Dyer.
It's something we see quite often. But again, I think it's parents being involved and knowing what their children are looking at and making that a condition of having the phone, especially if the parent's paying for it. If I'm paying for it, I'm going to know what you're looking at, that sort of thing.
One other question around this. In terms of the investigation, will the investigation go down the path of figuring out if there's any predator activity, where the adult person in this matter was sort of soliciting this type of behavior?
I mean, if they can identify the perpetrator, which is not easy. They would certainly look at his or her background to see if this is a recurring thing, and confer with the ICAC, which is the International
Internet Crimes Against Children.
Right, that's a federal organization that specializes in these types of crimes, and to see if he or she has popped up on the radar. So certainly.
Thank you.
00035, we're winding down. The question was, how old is the kid? This was a 16-year-old kid that had some mental health challenges as well. If you need more on that, I can go into that case a little bit further, but that all the questions I had. Certainly entertain more. Let me give you just a quick summary of our public safety report covering February 6th through the 18th. Somewhat of a busy time period. We had 493 total events, 5 assist other agency, 8 community policing, 24 foot patrols, 278 patrol checks, 26 traffic enforcement initiatives. Again, 493 events, and 12 incident reports were written during that period, which we've just covered quite a few of them. But if there are any other questions about any of the other incidents, I'd be more happy to answer those at this time.
I appreciate the layout of the summary for the 2-week stint being large enough for us to see. That's not the first time that's happened, but it's the first time I've thanked anybody for it. So it's usually laid out in a way that none of us can see it. So this is great. Thank you.
Gary?
Appreciate you.
I just have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow up on the fire with the apartments and I know everyone got out safely, and I know we had a large response, so thank you for that.
Sure.
Is there any update on, was everyone taken care of? Everyone has housing?
Yeah, we had several of our officers follow up just to see if there was anything we could do. Of course, I think it was Corporal Barrett was there the night of the fire to offer assistance to fire department personnel, and then Sergeant Lacey and I believe several other people followed up the following day to see if there was anything that we could offer, provide assistance in any way. To my knowledge, they haven't taken us up on any of those offers, particularly from the DSC or the downtown merchants, but we made it very clear that we were here to help. And
do we know what the cause was?
my understanding, it was a vape pen that was left plugged in under a pillow or blanket.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything else? No other questions? Let me
I don't
just...
think so. I don't see anybody posturing themselves in a way that would indicate such. So.
Real briefly, let me just let you all know, I think most of you do know, but Officer Bond is graduating on March 28th. We're very happy to have him. I'm sure our officers here are looking forward to having somebody junior to them, somebody to boss around and actually mentor and teach. So he's very excited. He came in the office last week to get his final parts of his uniform ready, and he's very excited and looking forward to hitting the ground running. So looking forward to having him. I did just finish up our annual report. I haven't sent it to you yet, Joe. We're putting the final edits on it, but I did want to just cover real briefly a few things. Very positive, 2.9% increase in calls for service, 22% increase in incident reports written. 175% increase in arrests. That's primarily because of these two here. 19% increase in traffic violations issued, and we had 14 arrests for DUI, which, mostly Officer Jacobs, which was a significant increase over last year. So those are the good parts, the good things. The negatives are thefts were up, as you all know. Stolen vehicles were up, fraud, ID theft up, CDS investigations up, burglaries up, assaults up. About the only thing that went down was MDOPs, and actually overdoses were up slightly, from 1 last year to 5 this year. So a lot of work for us to do. Countywide, it was an 8.5% decrease in total overdoses and 24% decrease in fatal overdoses. So we were not exactly in line with the county statistics, but again, we didn't have any fatal overdoses, I don't believe. So that was a good thing. But,
Chief, did you happen to look at year over year with the community policing numbers?
I did. I'm trying to think where we're at with that. Pretty constant, I think, about the same number.
Okay.
Maybe up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll give you an exact answer on that.
Great.
I have
Thank
it in my file somewhere.
No worries.
I
Thank
also
you.
got a quick question. This would be a good time. Have you taken down the disaster recovery plan, blown off the dust, and make sure there are no names in it that don't exist anymore?
Glad you mentioned that. Actually, one of my colleagues asked me for a copy of our plan, and it kind of reminded me that it's probably due for renewal and probably updating. So
I would, having done that on my side when I had a job, once a year, oh, look, the person we're going to call retired, probably don't want to call him at home.
yeah, it calls for, I think, every 2 years to be updated. So put that on my list.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. We had a very productive meeting with several members of the health department. Sergeant Slareth is kind of our point person with the opioid situation. He attends a lot of the meetings for me. I'm happy to inform you that we now have a Narcan box in our lobby. It's not full yet. They're going to bring us the Narcan here shortly, but we'll have a supply of Narcan that people can walk into our lobby and get. So we're very happy to have that. We're also in the early planning stages of that community event. I think I mentioned it to you one other time, where they would like to come out, do some drug take-back collections, maybe bring their health department, their command vehicle, I call it.
Yep.
Hand out some naloxone, talk about current issues, and just have some resources there for people. And I mentioned to Julie that they would like to do it at one of our town events, if possible. But we're going to take it one step at a time. Maybe try to plan an evening event during the week where we can maybe try the naloxone, the take back, and then see how that goes, and maybe try to fit it into one of the town events. I'm thinking maybe the fall festival. Wouldn't be too good maybe at the Art and Wine or the Craft Beer Festival.
Probably not. But
Kind
no,
of
I
mixed-
think the
mixed
fall
messages
festival
there.
makes good sense.
Well,
Yeah.
that or the market.
Yeah, I mean,
We talked about that.
yeah, and
we
maybe
did.
more than one of the markets.
Mm-hmm.
We talked
Yeah.
about that. That's a possibility. But
Yeah.
they're very excited to work with us, and they're glad that we're kind of reaching out to them and willing to partner with them. And so I think it's going in the right direction.
Thank you, Chief.
Stand by for that. Yeah, but thank you for that. Yeah.
Well, and just a reminder on the Narcan and naloxone, so thank you all for pursuing that and making sure we have it. And just, again, we've talked about a recommendation that everybody carry that,
Mhm.
people are getting aspirin and Tylenol that actually have fentanyl in it. And I mean, it's not unfortunately, it's something pretty pervasive across the country, that it's not someone just who's using a substance that might be at risk. So having that at any point for all of us, I think going forward is a good thing to have.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so. Thank
I
you.
hope I
Chief.
didn't mess up your timeline.
No, actually, not yet. You only have 25 more seconds,
Thanks.
so you're good.
Thanks for all the answers, Chief. It's greatly appreciated.
Appreciate you. So that brings us to our council and or committee reports. Anyone that has anything for the good of the order that would like to share with us?
Are you gonna go?
You can go in the next one.
All right, the HTC's meeting Wednesday with the new guidelines. That'll be exciting. We have a couple applications. That's all I got.
Thank you.
So Spark events are starting to ramp up. So up we have our new logo.
Love
Why a
it.
squirrel?
So what?
Why a squirrel?
The Sparky.
Definitely.
In parks, you
I
have
thought that was a
squirrels.
dog. No.
So we start at the end of March with our Easter egg hunt. Starts at 10. Get there early. Is over by 10:01. The kids get pretty active. Pretty
49 seconds last year.
So, and it will be followed by the scavenger egg hunt for the word on the 29th and 30th of March, followed by an April cleanup on the 20th, but a new event this year, now at a different park than Miller Cooper. We're branching out down to South Branch on the 27th, looking at having our first skate jam competition. In the afternoon from 12 to 4. So more information coming out. People will go to the local skate shop to sign up. There will not be a charge for it, but it's only for the first 50 people who come and sign up.
50.
50, yep. Yeah, the first 50. So
I'm going to be 51. I can feel it.
So it should be a really fun event, and love that, just our history with the town, with the skate park and Shrimp Town and everything else. So excited for that as we kick off the season.
All right. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Appreciate you. Anyone else down there?
For DSC, a bunch of things. Event highlights were the Rhythm of Heritage event. That was a successful event. It raised funds for Find Your Purpose Inc., which is a nonprofit organization dedicating to empowering individuals. And there's also a Westminster show that is going to take place, I believe, this week. This just took place this last weekend. Cocoa Crawl was this past weekend as well. The event attracted over 400 cocoa enthusiasts to downtown. And there was pictures in the Baltimore Sun article on the same day.
Friday was hopping down here.
Programs and initiatives. We had our annual retreat this past Saturday where we did a SWOT analysis with the outcomes that'll serve as our framework going forward for annual work plans. And as I mentioned from an email from that meeting that day, anyone here on the council is welcome to come Wednesday, the 28th at 6 o'clock to do a tour of the building. Residential part's done. Commercial's going to be a while, but I'll give you a chance to see the entire building.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Monthly fundraiser for the Green Committee starts this Friday at Botanical, and on Monday, March 4th, 10% of Beck's proceeds will go to the garden for every meal ordered, so everybody run down to Beck's next Monday. We are in need of volunteers, as always, for our various events. For those interested in getting involved, please go to Downtown Sykesville Connection website or email downtownsykesvilleconnection@gmail.com. And we've got the April 6th garden cleanup, May 4th Art and Wine Festival, and May 19th is the grand opening of the ever popular farmers market.
Gosh, that just came up fast. And,
Yep.
And I said Friday was hopping down here. I worked all day on Saturday at my desk, so I'm a bit confused. But it was Saturday that was hopping because of the Cocoa Crawl. I just know I got up from my desk and it was Saturday. So anyway, thank you, Councilman Keenan. Anything else for the good of the order? Thank you, everyone. I am going to call it at...
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh my goodness. Are you guys serious?
I was watching them. I mean, they're like very quiet tonight.
Councilman Grassley with the first, Councilwoman Schofield. Girl. Now I'm the one making it run late.
What
With the
cooperation
second.
did you have?
I know. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
That's it. It's 7:38. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Started 2 minutes late.
Yeah, and so.